Why do people have to stare in Stereotype City? Why not just a passing glance, perhaps one they themselves don't catch, and then invariably return, or one she might catch, and gets the idea? What's so interesting about me? Stop looking for excuses to stare. You take away others' freedom when you stare. I'd much rather a photo, that way you're just stealing my soul, and that's invisible. Freedom is closer to tangible. Is this a stereotype? I admit now to being a hypocrite. Everyone should, because everyone is and everyone contradicts themselves. This is why the word shouldn't exist, because it's like calling someone a human being. They don't stare in Europe's metropolises. It's as if they've seen everything, weathered by human interaction alone. What shall they gain from putting their greedy, beady eyes on me for the connection of cumulative seconds? But alas, staring is not a problem here. But it will always be in Stereotype City. You who look like everyone, for while your heart and actions and words may represent everything otherwise, your exterior projects everything which I must guess about, but is still a mere representation of a thing, a general, large, categorized thing, given a cursory look, maybe a wonder, and then forgotten like space dust, unseen a trillion light years away. A problem is something that can go away. I think the biggest problem in the world is not knowing what the other is thinking, or one could say, the lack of the most truthful, candid communication at all times. For instance, when I received the textual message, I gathered falsity of emotion and passive aggression, and this caused great hesitance when ruminating on a response. There is no absolute truth in a text. The savvy and savage trickery of fingers, and therefore the guilt of my ego hangs in the balance. But then again, live flesh lies just as well. The hustle-bustle is inevitable in Stereotype City. Hazardous, too. The average of such a city is in itself a kind of velocity, a cumbersome, ponderous velocity. What could love be? I ask conditionally, for to know what it is predetermines it. Yet I am back to whether it even exists, and if it did, who would I be to presume to describe it? Therefore, everyone has their own answers, and not one of them is correct, yet they all are. I don't like how the wind managed to curve around the large column today, seeking shelter from the wind and definitely not liking it. There's a brutality to the wind, a gray, unfailing brutality. The sun creates the wind. The sun inflicts me with pain and pleasure, and may one day bring light to Stereotype City again. The sun is huge, extraplanetary. Why? Because Earth could fit into the sun 1,000,000 times over. Wrap your head around it. You cannot. That idea is staggering and, well, otherworldly. Even if you could imagine it, I will not let you now. I'm on to the next thing in this program. And there's the rain. How dreary, unfortunate, and inevitably wet it is and will always be. What is that black man doing in the big white old house? What is he doing in there? Is there nothing he can do weather-wise? Can he not provide extra funding for meteorologists wherein, as I'm sure I've heard mention of on televisions and extranet, to study ways of rerouting clouds or simply repositioning the thinning ozone? I can't mention this human being's name because, first of all, that has a tendency to date media. But, more importantly, this act would be stereotypical, and then I'd be one more person embedding that stereotype and affecting others. Their freedom, the way they might speak about him in the future, that should only be affected by their opinion of him, coupled with various and sundry radioactive and cybernetic sources that emit factual data, not by the idiotic dogma of pop culture. How dare you? You are rumor mongers. Keep your nose out. This is not the high school cafeteria if you ever went there. People who tell me I don't smile enough are sure to get the opposite from me. Maybe I should walk around all the time with a smile on my face, giving people the wrong impression, so that when the time comes to really smile, as in laughter or sex, me and others shall take it for granted. Let's consider a socio-moral question. A young, beautiful woman needs to exit a building, like the man a few steps ahead of her. Should the man wait and hold the door for her? If he does, he is considered by social tradition a gentleman. If he does not, a jerk. Such disparity between two actions, two choices. I would say the difference between the action and choices is infinite, yet the outcome is quite definitively singular, socially speaking. I do not hate the world, as it were. I just try to glide through this world, unmoored by too many obstacles, apart from some pressing financial matters, while enjoying the moment, embracing the good things, trying to be good and act right, while also dodging the horrors, the bad, only a fraction of which inhabit Stereotype City.
Les dons de soi, je t'ouvre les yeux, tu verras.